here we go. It's a nice takeoff. It sounds like a BMW in here. Alrighty, 0 to 100 in seconds. Brake boosting it. Well, it says do not press simultaneously. Fine. Oh, that is much faster. Holy, the 0 to 100 of this thing is seconds. It has been a long time coming, but we are finally here with the all-new Zeekr 7X. It is landing in Australia literally as of now. It's in the country and people are going to be picking it up within the next couple of weeks. So today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the new Zeekr 7X, including its crazy pricing, some of the really cool features that you get actually across the range, and why I think this could actually be a bit of a Tesla Model Y, a BYD Sealion 7 killer, because it's pretty incredible, especially for its price. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about price, because that is one of the best things about the new Zeekr 7X. It starts at $57,900 for the base rear-wheel drive. That comes with a 75 kilowatt hour LFP battery, but that is not a bad battery, and it'll get you about 480 kilometers of range. Some pretty impressive stats with that as well, which we'll come back to. Then you can step up to the long-range rear-wheel drive, which is 63,900. That comes with a 100 kilowatt hour NMC battery. Again, we'll come back to it, but incredibly impressive stats. And that will get you 615 kilometers of range on the WLTP standard, which is an absolutely massive amount. And then there is the performance all-wheel drive. That adds an electric motor to the front axle. Will send you 0 to 100 in well under 4 seconds, and will get you about 536 kilometers on the WLTP standard. And that will set you back 72,900. All of these before on road. So yeah, very, very impressive pricing for everything that you are getting. Okay, let's talk about the way that this thing looks. And one negative straight out the bat. Unfortunately, we're not getting the Stargate LED lights at the front. These are customizable LEDs that were really unique to the Zeekr 7X. Unfortunately, it doesn't pass Australian design regulations, so we don't get it. Instead, we get this black bar that runs across the front, which I think looks really, really good on white cars, but once you go to like a green car, can't really see it anymore. So that's a bit of a shame, but still a very good looking SUV, I think. Got the Zeekr badge here as well. You got some nice daytime running lights with very bright LEDs as well. You have air dams here, which open and close, and that's part of the reason that this thing has such good efficiency. It's just very, very aerodynamic, very, very slippery, and that's why even in the base rear-wheel drive, you're still getting 480 kilometers of range on the WLTP standard. No LiDAR here in Australia either, so don't expect full autonomous driving, though this thing will definitely drive itself down a highway and keep you in the center of the lane, which unfortunately we can't actually test here because we're at a racetrack, but from what I hear, it does a pretty good job. But I'll reserve judgment until we take it onto saucy roads. Let's check out the side. So we will be driving the all drive performance and the long range today. This one here is the long range. You can This is why I hate this key. This is a little diamond thing, and as beautiful as it is, it's just not very practical because it's slippery, and also it doesn't have any hooks to it, so I'm gonna keep that in my pocket. Yes, you could tell that this is the long range all-wheel drive, or even the base rear-wheel drive. There's no real distinguisher there because of these wheels. So these are wrapped in 19-inch wheels. They've got a lot of sidewall to them, and I like that. That is a very good thing. It means that this should ride quite well, even though it's not top spec with the air suspension. And I like the alloy wheel design as well. It's nothing spectacular, but it's pretty cool. You have a camera here, and a camera here. This thing is cameraed up to the gills, and that's part of the reason that it can get so many autonomous driving features, even if it doesn't have the LiDAR on top. Here we have pop-out door handles, which I've just pushed away, but they do come out, thankfully. And if you go for the higher trims, like you might have seen in my walk around like a few months ago, you can press a button here and the door will pop open. It still feels very electronic, like you can put your hand in and the door will still open. You don't actually have to pull on anything, but yeah, I quite like this design a bit more. So I thought that on the long range and above, it actually came with tinted privacy glass, but we don't have it here. Just keep in mind that these are still technically pre-production cars, so things could be subject to change. And a very beautiful rear end. I really like it. Let's check out the bum. And then there is the bum of the Zeekr 7X. Probably my least favorite angle, even though it's not bad in any way. It's just not that exciting, I guess. You have a long light bar here that runs across the back. 7X spelled out there. Zeekr etched into there. I'm pretty sure in China and some other markets, this actually lights up in red, but otherwise not much else going on, which is both a very good thing, but also can make it a little bit bland at the same time, but very Chinese SUV-y in some ways. Let's see if it has a powered bum. Oh, there's so many cameras, I just can't get over it. One there, one there. That's the button I'm looking for. And when you press that, it opens up to reveal quite an impressive amount of space. Is it Tesla Model Y destroying? Not quite. That thing is still a bit of a TARDIS, but it's very, very good. So with the rear seats up, it's actually got 539 liters of boot space. If you lift this this up, you actually get quite a lot of storage in there, and this can actually be used as a divider if you want to stop things from sliding around like shopping. And then you've got even more room under here, another false floor. So yeah, you do actually get quite a lot of space. And if you go for the rear-wheel drive versions of this car specifically, you actually get a 62-litre frunk up front, which is relatively decent in size, actually. I was quite surprised by that. And you get a 12-volt socky wocky, that's 180 watts, which is pretty powerful for a 12-volt socket, and a couple of hooks there as well. So actually quite a practical SUV, as you would kind of hope for what is a relatively large mid-size family SUV. Let's check out the interior. Alrighty guys, inside of the Zeekr 7X, what is it like? Well, it is a very, very, very nice place to be. Like, the more I get into this car, the more I am impressed with it. And the thing I like is that no matter if you go for the base rear-wheel drive with the LFP battery or the top of the range, the change in spec is not huge. So if you don't want to spend a stupid amount of money, you don't have to get a lot of the experience. So this is the long range that I'm sitting in. The interior of this and the all drive are pretty much the same. If you go for the base, you lose out on a couple of things, but I'm not too mad. One is massage, and the massage in this is admittedly very, very good. The other thing you miss out on is an electrically adjusting steering wheel, but I don't care about that because I actually find it kind of annoying. You have to go into the menu, steering wheel, and then you can do it much like a Tesla. It's just not my favorite thing. I would much rather do it manually. So hey, one of the benefits of going for the base model if you want to. Quality in here is just absurd. Like, listen to the doors. It's a really, really well-built car. And you could thank the fact that a lot of the underpinnings of this are shared with things like Volvos and Polestars, a lot of other cars from Geely Group. And because they're, let's be honest, mostly machine-made, the fit and finish in here is fantastic. Like, soft touch materials absolutely everywhere. It is a very quiet interior. It's just a really solidly built and solidly feeling interior. Now, if you do go for the top of the range, that does net you automatically opening doors. Put your foot on the brake and the doors will close as well. However, I'm very happy just with the buttons, so whatever. The big thing is the display here. So it's a 16-inch display. It's absolutely massive. It's got some incredible processing behind it as well because it's so snappy. But much like a Tesla, you do pretty much everything from the screen, but it's all good and it's all functionally laid out. I like that your air conditioning controls are at the bottom, so it's easy to use. I don't love the fact you do have to go in there to change your air vent positions. I always think that's a bit silly and a bit dumb. But once you set it, I guess for a lot of the time, you do just forget it. So you have that. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto as well. I like how you have your different modes here, like car wash mode, which gives you a checklist, tells you everything's okay before you go through a car wash. Camping mode, which you can lock the car and have a safe camping experience. You have pet mode, which keeps the air conditioning on when you leave your pet in the car. Please be safe with that. And you've also got rest mode as well, which you can make each individual seat for the front seats recline essentially, and will also put up your sunshades and close the sunshade at the top. So yeah, just a really, really cool system. Up in front of you is a digital instrument cluster. It doesn't show a huge amount of information, but it's enough. You have a little display on the right-hand side that you can kind of go through and see enough information. I also like that you can control the air conditioning from there as well. So that's been a big use. Another bit of silly design, I think, is that your glove box is a button. Like, I'm happy you get it, but it's just unnecessary. I guess it is kind of cool and wowing the first time, but then you kind of just wonder why. You get dual fast wireless chargers, which is awesome. Shout out to Google for sending us the Pixel. If you want to go watch that review, I'll leave our CarSauce channel down below. You have a fast USB-C port and a less fast USB-C port. It's still fast, and a storage area under here. Pull this open. You have this open storage area where you have a couple of hidden cup holders. I love a good hidden cup holder. And you have Lexus's used to be patented design here where you have a dual side opening center armrest. But there's heaps of space in there as well. Oh, and shout out as well to the sound system in here. Unbelievably good, and you get that across the range. That was one of the things I was a bit worried about. I was like, oh, is the LFP, the bass going to get the worst sound system? But it's not. It's actually really, really good. Geely Group actually knows how to make some good speakers. The seats. So if you go for any other trim than the top spec, they are a PU leather, essentially plastic, but they feel fantastic, and heaps of support as well, like great under thigh support, which is so important and so many Chinese cars don't do, but you get it here. They are heated front and rear, by the way, no matter which spec you get. But if you go for the long range or above, then they're also cooled and massaged. So you are missing out on that in the base. Though the steering wheel, which I think is really, really nice, by the way, that is heated across the range. I really think you're getting a lot of value for your money here. Like, it's an extremely impressive interior down to the ambient lighting. Like, it's good. It's really good. And best of all, it's quiet. by it and it's solid. Like, it's really solid. One of the best interiors at this price point, I think, hands down. Let's check out the back seats. Alrighty guys, back seats of the Zeekr 7X. What is it like? Well, I'm 5'11" and I've just got an insane amount of leg room. Showroom as well is good. The floor is definitely raised up, so my legs are not at the best angle ever. I kind of wish the base of these seats were a bit more pitched up, but it's not the worst I've seen. I think a Tesla Model Y is worse for that. Headroom is actually very good as well. And there are some insanely cool tricks in the back of here as well. Again, across the range, like power reclining seats. You can get apparently 10 degrees of pitch here, but it is very, very comfortable. Like, really, really nice. I like the faux leather seats as well. They feel pretty good. Like I said, they're heated as well, although I don't know how to activate it from here. So, I don't know. Maybe you have to do it from the front, unless I'm missing something. That wouldn't be right. I'm sure I'm not. Anyway, apparently you get them. This is one really cool feature. Because I'm not a dad yet myself, the parenting stuff doesn't come naturally to me. But I think if you are a parent, you are gonna absolutely love this. Because first of all, check out this. Your doors, that's almost 90 degrees. So loading things in and out is actually very, very easy. Or if you got your old parents, whatever, getting into the back is very easy. The other thing here is you have this camera. I have never seen this before in my life. It's blowing my mind. This camera you can activate on the front infotainment display, and it will show you a live feed of the back seats. That way you can keep an eye on your kids without having to, you know, turn around and, oi, you know, do one of those. So that's fantastic. And also for privacy, you can cover that as well. So they've really thought of everything in here. I love the map pockets as well. Also, again, across the range, if you just hold this down, you get a powered sun visor. I did not expect this to come for the base model, but the fact you even get it is incredible, I think. You have a big storage area there and what looks to be a fridge in other markets. Sometimes Chinese cars will come with this and it always confuses me, but no, you can't actually pull this out, at least as far as I'm aware, but in some markets you can get that as a fridge. Very, very big in the Chinese market. You do get a couple of cup holders here in your fold-out center armrest with a storage area, USB-C port, and a USB-A port. First USB-A port I've seen in this car. But yeah, overall, I've got to say, I'm so impressed by the interior. Like, what you get for your money blows my mind, and I have no idea how Zeekr are bringing it in at this price. But I guess it doesn't matter because you can pay the best price. That's because we have CarSauce Buy, our car buying service. If you want to buy any new car, you want the best price possible and cars that are actually in stock, just Google CarSauce Buy. We have a dedicated team of car buyers who go out there and negotiate on your behalf to get you the best prices possible. And the best part of it all is that it's completely obligation free. You literally don't have to pay a single cent until you've gone and signed the papers for the cars that you actually want to buy. So if that sounds good to you, join our thousands of happy customers at CarSauce Buy, or just scan the QR code on your screen now. The other thing that will absolutely blow your mind is what this car comes with, so let's talk about its powertrain. All right, let's take a look under the bonnet, where of course you will find storage, but it's a good signifier for what is under this thing, because it is insane. This is built on an 800-volt architecture, which already beats out most of the competition at this price point. Let me pull out my phone because I don't want to get any of this wrong. There is a lot to remember. So like I said, it comes as a rear-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive. You can get it with 2 different batteries as well. If you go for the entry level, that comes with a 75 kilowatt hour LFP battery, or lithium ferrous phosphate. That's a good battery because it allows you to charge it up to 100% safely every single time. It's not quite as energy dense, so it's heavier for what it is, but still, it's a really good battery. And that's 480 kilometers of range on the WLTP. If you step up to the 100 kilowatt hour battery, that's an NMC, or nickel manganese cobalt. That's a battery you don't really want to charge past about 80% in day-to-day use, though if you do charge it to 100%, that will give you 610 kilometers of range of the WLTP. So extremely, extremely good. That is actually really efficient if it can achieve that. And that has the same electric motor as the LFP battery, so it puts out the same 310 kilowatt of power and 440 newton meters of torque. If you step up to this, the all-wheel drive, that adds an electric motor at the front wheels, and that bumps you up to 475 kilowatt of power, 710 newton meters of torque. And the all-wheel drive has a range of about 540 kilometers on the WLTP cycle. Charging is where this thing is just mind-blowing. If you go for the LFP battery, it'll charge it up to 450 kilowatts, which is insane. There are no chargers in Australia that can even go past 400 kilowatts, so this is almost future-proofed, at least for quite a long while. You can get from like 10 to 80% in something stupid 10 minutes. Crazy. Somehow the NMC battery, at least on paper, I'll have to double check this, but it charges at 420 kilowatts, which again is insanely fast, but usually NMC is faster than LFP, so I don't know, I'm a bit confused by that. But regardless, you are getting insane charge speeds, and that is helped by the fact fact, it's built on that 800 volt architecture. And also it has vehicle to load at 3.3 kilowatts. So yes, this thing, it has stupid figures, especially for its price point. It is very impressive. But how does it drive? Let's launch it and find out. Alrighty guys, now we are going to launch the Zeekr 7X. This one is the long range, so it's the big 100 kilowatt hour battery, but this has the same power as the standard range, or the normal low range, I don't even know what you'd call it. All right, let's put this thing into sport acceleration, specialist timing gear, here we go. It's a nice takeoff. It sounds like a BMW in here. Alrighty, 0 to 100 in 5.93 seconds. That's actually pretty fast. All right, now it's time to launch the all-wheel drive. Let's see what it'll do. Just keep in mind that this is on 29%, so it's probably at its worst, let's be honest. All right, here we go. Brake boosting it. Well, it says do not press simultaneously. Fine. Oh, that is much faster. Holy shit. The 0 to 100 of this thing is 3.77 seconds. Even at 29%, that is insane. That is insanely fast. All right, let's drive the rear wheel drive. Alrighty guys, so driving the long range here, the rear wheel drive, what is it like? Well, first things first, comfort in this thing is fantastic. To be fair, we are on a track. Hence this helmet on right now. But it's got a really good acceleration to it. It's not too like snappy, even though it's got 310 kilowatt of power. It's not breaking your neck in any way. It just feels really quite smooth. Regen right now is on strong, but I've got to say, I'm impressed with how it's riding. Obviously, it's not indicative of how it will drive on Australian roads, so we'll test all of these cars back on our normal testing route. But as it currently stands, I'm actually kind of impressed. Steering is good, there's a bit of rotation. I'm kind of surprised because if you get into something like a Tesla Model Y or a BYD Sealion 7, they have some sort of flaws. The Model Y is very good, but it's got this underlying harshness, particularly with its secondary ride. The Sealion 7 is the opposite. It's actually quite floaty, which is great for around town, but not necessarily great for everything else. Based on what I'm feeling right now, I'm actually really enjoying this. This is the heavier battery. There is no LFP battery for me to test, but most people are buying this one anyway. Now, like I said, this thing does have 310 kilowatt of power. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's got 310 kilowatt of power. Like my foot is planted all the way to the floor. The traction light is coming on, to be fair, which is interesting. But even right now at 180 kilometers an hour, it feels quite stable, actually, like surprisingly so. And the brakes on these things are also pretty good. So yeah, first impressions are this thing is quite good, actually. It rides, handles really well, especially for a family SUV. All right, let's drive the all-wheel drive now and see if that's any better. Alrighty guys, driving the performance, the all-wheel drive. So yeah, this thing, like I said earlier, adds a front electric motor and it does feel quite performance-y. It does also gain air suspension, so it is quite a lot more expensive than the regular rear-wheel drive, but my God, it's so much faster as well. So with the air suspension, you can set it to like 5 different settings. We're in sport mode right now, so it's either standard or low, but you could go very low in some situations, I guess. Maybe if you're on a highway or something. I haven't quite figured that one out. But in terms of ride comfort, we are, to be fair, in sport mode, but it definitely feels, well, very, very sporty, almost too sporty. In fact, let's try in standard. It still certainly feels a bit more stiff. Actually, I just felt the dampening lift off there. Still quite stiff, but comfortable, I would say. Again, it's hard to gauge on a racetrack, but it's definitely got more of an edge to it, a firmness, because of that air suspension. So in some instances, it might actually be better to not go for the air suspension. In fact, let's try comfort, see if that helps. Yeah, it's just a bit more floaty and softer in the primary ride, but even that secondary ride, it's still quite firm. So it's not bad, it's just if you want something that's a bit more on edge, you're gonna get it in this, which I guess is befitting of the name performance. Let's put the damping mode back into sport because I wanna see how fast it is. It does feel significantly more powerful, like it just insanely more powerful than the rear wheel drive, just back to back. We're on the straight now. It's funny, these things do get a little bit sketchy as you get higher in speed. And we've reached the max speed of the car, which is about 200 kilometers an hour. It gets there very fast, guys. Like, holy moly, this thing builds power. You also gain upgraded brakes on this as well. So it's 4-piston calipers up front, and it's definitely gonna make a difference. They're still not huge brakes, but on an EV like this, I guess any bit of extra braking helps. So overall, I've got to say, I'm impressed. Yes, the performance definitely has a firm ride, even with that air suspension. In fact, I would say it's a bit more pitter-pattery than you would find on the regular coil sprung in the rear wheel drive versions, but I'm impressed. For a family SUV around a racetrack, it's not really a sports car, like it's handling it quite well. So with that, let's get into our final thoughts. All right, so Zeekr 7X, do I think you should buy one? Well, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of got everything going for it. It's really well priced. I love the way it looks. The interior is really, really good. It does have some funny quirks like the mirrors and steering wheel. I don't think they need to be controlled by the steering wheel, but those are minor. I think everything that this car provides, value, range, driving capability, and like I said, the whole package, it is just so impressive. And it really is coming straight for the throats of the Tesla Model Y and the BYD Sealion 7. So yeah, honestly, I can 100% recommend this thing, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think of the new Zeekr 7X? Are you gonna be rushing out to buy one, or are you gonna go for one of its competitors instead? I'm very curious to hear what you have to say. Of course, please do like, subscribe, and share the video. It really, really helps the channel out. And if you wanna buy one of these, you want the best price possible with cars that are actually in stock, just Google CarSauce Buy. Our dedicated team of car buyers will help you out. I'm impressed. Ciao for now.